Why are young men today refusing to work? Well, unlike the dishonest mainstream media, let's go directly to the source and see what young men are actually saying. Job pays $15, no health benefits, taxes take $6, your rent is $1,500 for a small bedroom with 5 roommates. Why bother? Why contribute to a society that feels entitled to your labor? And not only does it lack gratitude for your contributions, but actively resents you, demonizes you, and works against you. I think the internet has given rise to a consciousness that men are realizing why work yourself into the ground for a society that treats you as disposable. Why work for no return at all? Barely living? Lol, just to spend the whole day doing nothing and living with basic food and water. Myth, nobody wants to work anymore. Reality, nobody wants to pay a decent wage anymore. Many say no work, no reward. I say no reward, no work. They want a 20-year-old with the work ethic of a 30-year-old, the maturity of a 40-year-old, the experience of a 50-year-old, who will work for the salary of a 10-year-old.
So true. Love your channel. First off, I didn't even want to be or consent to being born. So of course I'm not interested in being a wage slave either. Birthing someone who did not want to or consent to being born and calling them lazy because they don't want to work is like if I was to break into someone's house and tranquilize them in the middle of the night and kidnap them. And the next thing you know, they wake up in a UFC ring with a jacked roid-raged UFC fighter inching their way about to beat the snot out of them. And the person looking around saying, "How did I get here? I want nothing to do with this place, this fight, or that UFC fighter." And me sitting in the stands calling them lazy because they don't want to fight. Calling someone lazy is just a shaming language to shame someone into being a good slave or doing whatever you want them to do. Pay it no mind at all. If I was so lazy, my parents should have just left my lazy ass in non-existence. Notice how these royal families and people born into wealth all these years never do any of these jobs and they don't get called lazy. But if you are born poor and you don't want to do that shit, all of a sudden you are lazy. Fuck out of here. I hate working with a fiery passion. Got fired a month ago for being sick and calling out. I'm currently job searching and have had a few interviews, but no luck yet. I hate doing stuff I don't give a shit about, lining others' pockets, and feeling brain-dead working shifts that take up a good chunk, my only time I have on this earth. I could be doing so many other things with my time. I could be volunteering for things I'm passionate about, rediscovering hobbies that have been shoved to the back burner from adult responsibilities, and taking more time for my family and caring for my household. It's hard to be super motivated finding a job other than obviously for money. I'm not lazy, but I seriously just don't care about being a workaholic and putting in the grind. I knew I was in trouble whenever I recall being 9 years old, and I longed to be like my grandma who could wake up with the sunrise with a cup of coffee, birdwatch, run errands as she pleased, and take care of her home. I can't believe I've got to do this for the rest of my life. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Rant over.
This one hit home. I think the thing that has broken me down more than anything is exactly what you said. Constantly having to pretend to care. And not just to care, to be passionate. It's exhausting and inwardly humiliating. I care about doing good work and earning my day's pay, but that's just not good enough. So I play the game, wear the mask, play the role I need to play in order to survive. Retirement is a pipe dream. I live a simple life in a studio and selling it soon for an even smaller studio to minimize my debt and bills, and finally start working on what I like to do. I have always hated working for other people, and the inefficient and stupid rules they impose on you. After a while, you become institutionalized and don't even know what you enjoy doing anymore. I am glad I will be able to escape this nightmare called office work. Before 40, I don't want to work anymore, at all. I'm tired. I'm tired of being a human battery that has to go back and forth to a place I don't want to be, just to eat and pay for a somewhere to live that I barely get to spend time in because I'm always at work. And still being broke at the end of the month, even after 42.5 hours a week. It's not even 9 to 5 anymore. My job is 8:30 to 5.
Gen Z doesn't want to work. Literally what's going on right now. Studio apartment costing $2,400 minimum. A carton of eggs, some bread, and milk costing $35 plus tax. A destroyed house that needs to be gutted before it can be lived in again costing $200 million. Jobs only paying people $13 an hour. Apartments wanting people to make double what they make before they try and rent to them. I'm the oldest of the millennials. We were labeled lazy, too. Gen Z isn't lazy, they're smart. They realize it's insane to work yourself to death just to afford the bare minimum. I quit my job in December, no plan. No savings, didn't even give notice, just up and left. I am one of the many Gen Zs that have given up. We're in a recession and we're all depressed. I can barely afford to even eat. Some days I purposefully don't eat so I can stretch my food and money longer. And can we please talk about the fact you need like 20 years experience for an entry-level job? I'm 19, begging for work. No one wants to hire me because I've never done paid work before. And the government says I'm only partially disabled. My family judges me, but they won't tell me how to get hired.
I had been trying to get a decent job for months and probably submitted hundreds of applications. I got 2 interviews and was ghosted in both. Screw this. I get more attention from the scammers. I probably applied for thousands over the course of 12 years, even and especially while I had a job already, because my ex-wife didn't think it was good enough. I gave up. The last 7 years was hardest because I had a low-paying job, didn't earn living wage, had to do 5 to 6 jobs at the low-paying job, had to be dad and cook when I got home. Then I had a divorce, then it's single dad. Then my ex-wife passed away, and now I am the only parent I have given up looking for work. I applied to 800 jobs in 4 months. I got 3 calls and 6 emails. 4 of those emails were for a job I never applied for, in a job half the state, aka half a European country, or further away. The 2 emails and 3 calls were for interviews, yes, but I get to the place, go in, I saw $18 an hour. They said they couldn't do anything over $16 at this place. But if I wanted to commute another 30 minutes the opposite direction of the first place, for the second place, they might be able to do $16.75. One of the other interviews got canceled, since they already picked someone before the day I was scheduled to come in. And the other 2 weren't hiring at the place they said they set up an interview for me. I quit.
Applied for a job advertised as full-time, full benefits upon start, no salary listed. Don't want to say exactly what, but it involves inventory. The job was advertised as full-time, but turns out they can't guarantee hours. So 1 week could be 0, and the next could be 50, according to her, $16 an hour. You had to travel throughout the state using your own vehicle. You aren't paid while you drive, they consider it like a commute. Here's the part where I laughed. While at different locations you have to stay overnight in a hotel they choose, which they pay for. All right, I can deal with shitty hotels, but you have to share the room with a stranger. Yeah. Insane. Sure, they would be another employee, but as I said, you travel all over the state. Could be anyone from anywhere. I didn't mean to. I just burst out laughing. When she looked at me confused, I just laughed and said, "That's awful. People actually do that?" She was upset, asked rather curtly if I would like to continue the interview, and I said, "God, no," and hung up. I'm not getting assaulted in a shitty hotel for $16 an hour in 0 hours. There should be laws against damn near everything they're doing. Absolutely insane.
Why nobody wants to work anymore? Minimum wage, $7.25. Why is nobody applying for this job? Yeah, it's a real mystery. It's not nobody wants to work. It's nobody wants to work at the wage employers are willing to pay. You can work hard. Your reward is more hard work. And you'll make the same amount as people who just talk to coworkers and get nothing done. Exciting. Nothing I love more than an entry-level job demanding 4 years experience and a bachelor's degree. Rich and not working, okay? Poor and not working. Scandal. Nah, not taking a job for crap pay. Nobody wants to work equals everyone is smart enough not to take crap wages. A carpenter builds houses his whole career, yet not one is his. There's something deeply apocalyptic about this.